First Kings, the 8th chapter. Let me show you this here. The 47th verse.
46.
Start from 46. 1 Kings 8:46.
1 Kings chapter 8 and verse 46. If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not, and thou be angry with them.
And you know the Most High was angry with us, all right? And his anger is still there, but he's having a little compassion on Israel now. All right, read on.
And deliver them to the enemy, so that they carry them away captives unto the land of the enemy, far or near. Yet, if they shall bethink themselves...
See, that's the key. If we bethink ourselves to bring back into remembrance. All right, read on.
Yet, if they bethink themselves in the land whither they were carried captives, and repent, and make supplication unto thee.
And that's all the Most High want from us, man. To repent, man. Repent from our ways, man. And seek him, man. And acknowledge who we are and what he's going to do for us, man. Everything will run smoothly, man. Understand? Read on.
And make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carried them captives, saying, we have sinned and done perversely. We have committed wickedness.
And that's all the Most High want us to acknowledge, man. To acknowledge what we did against him and repent. And from there, man, the Most High will open the doors to our people easily, man. You understand? But the key to it, they have to acknowledge and know that they're the children of Israel. That's the key to the main thing. Once they can acknowledge and see that, man, that doorway is going to be open right there, man. But if they keep rejecting that, no, I'm a Christian. I'm a Pentecostal.
I'm a Gentile.
I'm a Gentile. The Most High, like, you know what? You on the death list, man. You understand? The Most High looking at it like, yeah, I see something with you be knuckleheads, man. All right? So go back to Deuteronomy.
30. What verse?
We finished the first verse. Read the first verse again.
Deuteronomy 30 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee.
And that's where we know. We're in the curse now. All right, read on.
And thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Most High thy power hath driven thee. And thou shalt return unto the Most High thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul. That then the Most High thy power will turn thy captivity.
And that's what he's doing now. We're coming down to the end of our captivity. All right, read on.
And have compassion upon thee.
See, and that's what the Most High is showing, that compassion. All right, read on.
And will return and gather thee from all nations, whither the Most High thy power hath scattered thee.
Right, so we scattered into all nations upon the face of the earth. All right, read on.
If any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of the heaven.
So what's the utmost parts of the heaven? The farthest region in the earth, wherever we scattered in. All right, the utmost parts of heaven. All right, so for now, America won't be considered the utmost part of heaven, but what will be considered the utmost parts of heaven in other places?
Off some of those islands, maybe Australia.
And all those places, down in the Fiji Islands and those places. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right. Read on.
From thence will the Most High thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Most High thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Most High thy power will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed.
See, so he's going to deal with you and your seed, your generations after you. All right, read on.
To love the Most High thy power with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Most High thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
See, and that's what the Most High is starting to do now. He's starting to put these curses upon our enemies now. Now he's reversing it back on them now. You dish it out, now you're going to take it now. All right, read on.
And on them that hate thee.
And on them that hate you. You know who hate us, right? So they're going to feel it now. The old saying, who feels it knows it. Yeah, they're going to get it now, boy. Take a dose of your own medicine now. All right. Read on.
Which persecuted thee.
Which persecuted thee. I know if a person read this here and they're like, damn. A white person that read this like, damn. That one sounds like us. You the one that persecuted everybody. If they had any conversation, they just said, damn, that's talking about us. If you really into reading the scripture, you say, damn, that fits us as a people, man. You know what I mean? And you see, when you look around the world, that doesn't fit nobody but white people, what they did to all nations of the earth, man. You go to any dark nation in the earth and ask them, who are your oppressors? The white man. You go to Japan, who oppress you? The white man. You go to Hawaiian Island, who oppress you? The white man. You go to Australia, who oppressed you and stole your land? The British white man. It gonna come, everything gonna be the white man, the white man. The product is him. You go to South America, the same thing, it's him too. So no matter what, that fits him to a T.
Right.
He persecuted everybody. You go to the Africans, they'll say, you're the white man. South Africa, if they can't say it's a white man, something wrong with them.
All
right? Read on.
Verse 8. Yeah. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Most High, and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day. And the Most High thy power will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land for good.
So this is the restoration of us. The Most High is going to multiply us and increase us. All right? Read on.
For the Most High will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers.
See, so it's showing you this is going to be a second time. Like he said, the Lord will again, all right, rejoice over thee for good, as you rejoice over thy fathers. So this is a second blessing that he's going to restore again to us. All right? Just like the Most High said in Isaiah 14, the Most High will have compassion on Israel. All right? Let's go to that real quick, because in that verse, he's telling you he's going to choose us again.
You said Isaiah?
Yeah, Isaiah 14, and come back to this in Deuteronomy.
14?
Yeah, 14 and 1.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel.
See? And, see that word? And will. This is a future tense.
Right.
So, okay, when people read this, right, how they can see this is something that's going to be that's going to happen again in the future. All right?
Right.
And how could they can't see this doesn't apply to the so-called Jews in Israel?
They can't see.
That's a hell of blindness, man. Because if they're in the land already and they claim they're the Jewish people and they're doing good, how could they actually get another blessing again upon what they already got already? So it shows you people not reading the scriptures with a spiritual understanding.
Right.
They're reading from what the lies that they've been taught for generation upon generation. That when you read this, right, you should say, wait a minute, who is Jacob? And then he said, I will yet choose Israel. So then the Most High didn't choose them already? So why is he going to choose them again if he chose them already? So that should ring a bell in your head. If they claim they're the chosen people in the land of Israel, why is the Most High going to choose them again for? What's the purpose? It doesn't make sense.
They're not reading these.
That's what I'm saying. They're not reading the scriptures, man. They're not reading it.
They go around it.
They go around it, you know? And they claim we cherry picking the scriptures. We don't cherry pick. All right? Read it again.
Isaiah 14 and 1. For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel.
See, he will have mercy and will yet choose Israel. All right? Read on.
And set them in their own land.
So if they're already in the land, how is he going to set them back in their land again? There's no need to do that. If they're in the land already saying they're the Jewish people, Israel was established in 1948. Why was the Most High going to choose them and reestablish them again? What purpose does that make? So showing you that Israel is not reestablished as a people. They're still in the condition of poverty and captivity. You know, that should ring a bell in a lot of people's minds when they read the scriptures. All right? Read on.
And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them, and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High for servants and handmaids.
Is that that's not happening in Israel today? The so-called modern-day Jews don't have no servants and handmaids.
No, they don't.
They don't. They don't have no slaves, even though they misuse the Palestinians. But they're still not slaves because they're bucking against them. They rebel against them. All right? Read on.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. and they shall rule over their possessors.
Check it out. Going back to the word again. We're going to rule over the oppressors. Anybody, ask anybody in the earth, who is the major oppressor in the earth? They will tell you the white man. You know what I'm saying? They will tell you. You don't have to be educated to know that. Who's the oppressor in the earth? Go back 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 100 years. The figure is going to point right back to the white man.
You can go back yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. You
That's a
understand?
fourth grader.
It's easy, man. But you know what? It's basically common sense. It's a common knowledge. I think the more book sense people have, it deprives them of common sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But the scripture says that, you know, Christ has to open their understanding because they don't get it because he didn't open it.
True, that's true. But certain things is basic knowledge for you to see. Basic common knowledge. Certain things. You know what I mean? You don't have to know the in-depth of certain things, but certain things is right there. It's in the back of your mind, like, and you have questions, but you don't have the answers. You're like, why is this? Why? You question certain things like, why? How? Why is it? Because even before I came in the truth, I used to ask, like, why black people suffer? Why we being mistreated by white people? Why we always behind it? We have to fight for civil rights. Those are questions I was in the back of my mind. Why we have to go through this here? Anybody else just enjoying life like it's natural? You know what I mean? So, certain things should be in your back of your mind, like questioning why. You know? And then when you hear certain things, you're like, you start to add on, the pieces start to add on. But like I said, that comes with a basic common sense. That doesn't come with book sense. But I guess maybe you have to go, when the higher you learn, maybe you get more knowledge of certain things. But to me, a lot of things in life is just basically common sense. 1, 2, 3, math. Yeah, that's
I was going to say, it's also willful ignorance.
That's
not
dumb. That's it. Willful ignorance. You choose to be ignorant because either of fear, rebellion, or you don't want to acknowledge and see the truth of things. You know what I mean? Because even when the Muslims or certain groups will speak certain things, you're like, that sounds good. You know what I mean? Like it might ring a bell, like, you know what I mean? When you hear Farrakhan was teaching out there, the white man is the devil. And you're like, that sounds good. You know, like, you know what I mean? And then you hear some black groups, black power for black people. Then you're like, you know, you know what I mean? It starts to like ring a bell. Certain things, like, it tingles your ear. You know what I mean? Because, like, you know what I mean? You know, and then all the years you see us as a people. Because even when I was coming up from young, when I saw King, when he was protesting down in all those Alabama and those places, and they was fighting for justice and for equality and stuff, it made you wonder, like, why we have to do all those things as a people if we were people. Nobody else didn't do it. White people didn't do it. Nobody's Chinese didn't do it. So why we had to go through all that lengthy process for justice, for this? And it stood out in your back of your mind like, damn. And then what impressed me the most is when they did the boycott. That was something, man. When they boycotted all the bus companies. And I saw that, man. I said, damn. I said, we have a lot of power, man. And that was all because of unity. We stood together on that, man. When I saw that, I said, damn. I said, we could do a lot of things if we unify, man. And when they unify and stop riding the buses, and you know, that was a lot of pressure too, because whites didn't like that. To see black people stop riding the bus and they're all pulling together, that hurt white America, man. When it was what, for about, it was 6 months? How was the bus strike? How long was the bus strike? About what, 3, 4 months?
Yeah.
You talking about in the 80s?
No, in the 60s. When they boycotted the bus companies.
How you remember that?
Yeah, man, I didn't forget that, man. Yeah.
You must have been a baby.
No, I was like 5, 6 years old, man. Yeah. I remember because we used to have, in school, they used to teach us the history about Martin Luther King. One thing in the islands, they always give you that history.
Yeah, you don't remember it.
Yeah. In the islands, we got more history of America than we got of ourselves.
Oh, so you're talking about You talking about the boycott in your country?
No, up here with Martin Luther King when they boycotted all the bus companies. In actual Alabama, in the civil rights movement, when they boycotted the buses and all black people stopped riding the buses, that hurted white America, man. Yeah, it put it, man. They was like, afterward, they was like, you know what? Okay. Because they were losing money, man. They were losing money. They boycotted all the buses, man. And black people pulled together. Black people came together and said, okay, you can ride with me. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Plus, they didn't have nobody to tell getting back in the bus.
Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was a great thing, man. Black people came together, man. And that shows you, man, when you have a right leader and they put out the right message, the people will respond to it, man. And when he told black people, pull it together and stop riding the buses, and they did it, man. They did it, man. That was amazing, man. That was a powerful move, man. And that only shows, man, that we could shut this country down. Easily, man. We could shut it down, man. If we just unify, we could do it, man. And when Esau saw that, he probably said, this nigga have to die. He has to die. Because after a while, remember King was moving towards what? An economical way of doing things. Getting back at the system. You know what I mean? And then when he did that, they said, wait a minute, he stepped out of his league now. He was supposed to be a Baptist preach minister, not moving towards civil rights movement and all those different things. Yeah.
Especially when he started talking about the war in Vietnam.
Yeah, the war in Vietnam. Yeah. When he started talking about that, and he said America is the biggest purveyor of violence. When he said that, when I heard him said that, I said, damn, King onto something now, boy. He said, America, you're the biggest purveyor of violence in the world, man, when it comes to the military. I said, damn, he's onto something, boy. He was moving, yeah, you know, yeah.
I was going to say, he also, in a conversation with Harry Belafonte, said, I fear I may have integrated my people into a burning house.
Yeah. Yeah. So he started, to a certain point, he started to wake up. He started to see, like, wait a minute, you know. But that shows you.
That's when they killed him.
Yeah. That shows you too that within you, you have a spirit that lets you know when something is not right. And you could see certain things. Because like the Most High said, there's no excuse for you to be ignorant and dumb. Your spirit shows you and tells you certain things, man. You know what I mean? Even though you refuse, like you said, willful ignorance, that spirit lets you know, man. Because if he got to a point, because remember before, all his speech that he was making, it was made by the so-called Jew. He used to write his speech and he used to read it. But remember, that last speech he made, you could tell that wasn't written by the so-called white man. That came from his true spirit. When he got up there and said, he been to the mountaintop. He said, you as a people will get there. He said, I might not make it. You understand? That came from his true spirit, man. And he said, this day I fear no man, I fear death. He didn't fear nothing. That came from his true spirit. When he said that, man, my hair stood up. Yeah, you're like, damn. Of all the speeches he made, that's the only one that really made my hair stood up. I'm like, damn, you could feel that because it came from his true spirit. The rest of the speech he was doing what the white man gave him to read. All men are created equally, according to the Constitution, all men endowed. That was bull crap. But when he made that speech came from his spirit, man. And when he finished, he just stepped back and that was it. And right after that, that day they killed him. Killed him. Because he knew he was going to die when he made that speech. Because when he started to hit the Vietnam War, yeah, you know what I mean? And I guess when Malcolm spoke to him too, it probably, but Martin Luther King wasn't dumb neither too, no? He was a scholar too. I think he graduated valedictorian from his class. Yeah. You know. And he's a natural born leader too, Martin Luther King, yeah. You know.
One more thing that could go with this. Yeah. Isaiah 14:2, when they talk about the captives, or they'll be going captives and rule over the oppressors, from Thomas Jefferson.
The speech that he made, right? Read that.
It says, it's a long speech, so I'll read from the middle. He said, indeed I tremble for my country.
See what he said? He said, indeed I tremble for my country. What would make him say something like that? Because he knew in the end justice was going to come. He said, I indeed tremble for my country. Go ahead.
When I reflect that God is just.
See, he reflect back that the Most High is just. The Most High is just. So that shows you he had to have some kind of inkling that, listen, we're going to pay for what we did in the end, man. You know? Read on.
That his justice cannot sleep forever.
See? It can't sleep forever. All right, read on.
That considering numbers, nature and natural means only, a revolution of the wheel of fortune, an exchange of situation is among possible events.
See that? And even in the Willie Lynch book, it tells you that unless a natural phenomenon happened, it will change the course of what we did to them.
Gone.
See? Go ahead.
That it may become probable by supernatural interference.
See? The same thing again. The same thing Willie Lynch said. A natural phenomenon. So you see? Right. So he see? A divine from the Most High. So he saw that, man.
Wow.
He saw that was going to come.
Wow.
All right? Read on.
The Almighty has no attribute which can take sides with us in such a contest.
See that? See what he's saying? So did the rest of them read that? Or they overlooked that, man? Go ahead.
But it is impossible to be temperate and to pursue this subject through various considerations of policy, of morals, of history, and natural civil. We must be contented to hope they will force their way into everyone's mind.
So what he said? He said eventually this should be forced into the minds of their people. All right? Read on.
I think a change already perceptible since the origin of the present revolution. The spirit of the master is abating, that of the slave rising from the dust, his condition mollifying, the way I hope preparing under the auspices of heaven for a total emancipation, and that this is disposed in the order of events to be with consent of the masters rather than by their extirpation.
So he saw that. He saw it. That's something he foreseen. I mean, he had to have a vision that eventually this was going to happen. Justice is going to prevail. And for you to be a leader, you have to have that mind too, that eventually justice will prevail. Because you can't just let evil run rampant and don't expect no justice from it. Because even in their model, they have with the scale, right? They got the lady holding the balance, right? And what's over her eyes? A blindfold. So what is showing you? That justice is not blind. Eventually, it will take its course. All right.
Oh, and the end of that's the end of it. But he's also saying that he hopes the masters will free them rather than this happens to us.
Right. Because a revolution will be bloody. It will be, you know what I mean? So he's saying it will be bad by choice of the masters to free the people than to go through a bloody revolution. But it's going to end up in a bloody revolution. Because the scripture said there is no what? There is no redemption without bloodshed. There has to be bloodshed. Blood has to be shed. All right? And that was it, right? Yeah, you had your hand up? Awesome. Had your hand up? Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, plus he went over to India.
King, right?
Yeah, he went over to India and learned a lot of it.
Yeah, he learned that a lot of Buddha stuff. Yeah.
They were somewhat going through oppression.
Yeah.
As to the level we were.
Yeah, he took the model from Gandhi. Yeah. But in one sense, it was good, but in another sense, it wasn't good. You know what I mean? Because in one sense, like the Most High said, you can't overthrow the government. No matter what you do, you can't overthrow it. I don't care if you get 1,000, 10,000 trained, good, vicious killers, you cannot overthrow this government. You cannot. And I'll bet any money anybody that tell me they could overthrow this government. Because if you do, you have to contend with the rest of the European government. You have to contend with France, England, and everybody else. They're not going to allow you just to overthrow America and you just sit like that. All right? Yeah.
You look under Jeremiah 23, it says every nation shall be under subjection of Babylon.
Yeah.
And when you go against it, then you have to
Yeah.
more than the Most High.
Because it wasn't a nation to come against Babylon when Nebuchadnezzar reigned. When Nebuchadnezzar came on the scene, it wasn't no nation that went up against it. And if you did, you were crushed. The Most High told you, put your necks under the yoke of Nebuchadnezzar. All right? And all the nations that tried it, he put them down. The same thing when the Greeks came on the scene. Whenever a nation comes to rule and the Most High set them up, you can't take that nation down.
A good example was when this president went over to Korea. Before then, they do it with boasters. And after he went over there, then it settled down.
Right. You understand? Because even with Judas Maccabees, when the Romans were coming on the scene, he wouldn't have made allegiance with the Romans. Why? Because he knew he couldn't take down the Roman army. It was impossible. He sent ambassadors to meet with the Romans to make allegiance of peace. All right? Because when Rome came on the scene, brother, they rolled up powerful. All right? They took down other nations. All right? Yeah.
To add on to what you were saying, Psalms 83 and 4, it says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no more be in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Right.
So, like you said, if
they have confederates.
If you take down America, you gotta take it.
You gotta take down the rest of the European powers. Because remember, the motto they had, one for all for one. When they created United NATO, if you fight against one, you have to fight against all. So America has the NATO alliance. All right. So let's say there's a big revolution or uprising here against America. And America is burning and it's being taken down by blacks. You think the rest of the whites in Europe will just sit back and like, that looks good? No. Because they're going to figure it's going to incite what? The rest of the blacks over in Europe too. You understand? And they're going to put an end to that too. They're not going to allow you to come and take down America because they have, remember, they all have common interests together. Even though they might bicker and fight, they have common interests. They have what? Business, commerce, trade. All right? It's making money together. All right? So they will all unify when it comes to us. All right? And the Most High tells you, you can't take America down. The Most High says, obey the powers that be. That mean now you just have to accept anything, but as far as taking up arms to overthrow the government, you can't do it because you will not win. You will not. All right? Now, if you want to be foolish, you could go ahead, but you're not going to live. I'm telling you. Because first of all, when you do it, police, the FBI, the CIA, the military, everybody's going to be hunting you down. And guess what? They're going to be tracking your family too. And then your family, with the pressure on your family going to give you up. Your family going to turn you in. Your mother going to turn you in. Son, son, give up, son, they're going to kill you. You know, mommy going to cry and say, son, give up. You know, your family's going to turn you in because they're going to put pressure on him and say, okay, you know what? You know where he is. You know. You're going to say, okay, well, you know what? You don't have no job tomorrow. You're going to go every means to cut you off so you could give your son up. All right? So the best thing we got to do is just keep the Most High laws. And like the Most High said, wait ye upon me until I rise up to the prey. All right? The Most High is going to bring him down. All right? Well, let me get a scripture in case somebody might say, oh, he's just talking. We could take the white man down. You know what I mean? Because people love to say, brother, you're a coward. You don't have. No, it ain't a matter of being coward, brother. It's a matter of being wise, being obedient. Every soldier takes orders from his commander. All right? And Yahushua is a commander, the Most High. He said, wait ye upon me. All right? So let's go to our scripture, Zephaniah. All right? Because a lot of people might have the idea, man, let's take the white man down, man. We don't know when this God is coming back. This God is taking too long to come and redeem us, man. We are waiting on a spook God. Everybody say, but I don't see him doing it. Everybody who say we're in a spook God, I don't see him going to take the white man down. All right? You got these black, we call them these black conscious group. You are waiting on a spook God. So what are we waiting on? Right? Zephaniah 3 and 8.
Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Most High.
Right? So this the Most High letting us know. He said, wait ye upon him. All right? Read on.
Until the day that I rise up to the prey.
And who's the prey?
The nations.
The nations. Made this white man. He's the prey that the Most High is coming to take down. All All right, read on.
For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms.
So this is the purpose of the Most High is going to assemble the nations for his purpose, to fight together against themselves. Where? And kill yourselves in this era now. So that's why it behooves our people not to join this man military and go and fight for him. If you're in, make this be your last and get the hell out. Don't say, I'm going to join. I'm going in for 10 years. All right? Read on.
Even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy.
And that's what the Most High is going to do it. So let's go to the book of Joel to prove that too. All right, so this is the Most High plans that Most High has a plan for them. All right.
Joel.
All we have to do is wait. All right. Joel the 3rd chapter. We just have to wait and be patient. Like Micah said, we have to. The Most High is going to plead our cause because we have sinned against the Most High.
Right. Joel chapter 3 and verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
This is future. The Most High is telling you again. He said, behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Meaning the Most High is going to bring us out of slavery a second time again. Because we're still in slavery.
God.
What, brother? How could we be in slavery? There's no shekels and iron bars on us. You don't have to have that.
Right. God.
When you have a puppy, you do what? You put the chains on him, right? To guide him and teach him. But when he becomes a full adult and he's well indoctrinated, you do what? You take off the chains and everything. Now he's well trained.
Right.
The dog is well trained. You say, stop, heel, fetch. You know how to do all those things because he's well trained. You understand? But when you're a puppy, you have to keep going because he's a puppy. He's just, all right, do any damn thing. He's stubborn. But when you become a dog and you're full adult, you're well trained. And what's the easiest dog to train?
Shepherd.
A shepherd. Once you train a shepherd, brother, you have a well-trained dog. I had a shepherd, man. He was easy to train. I trained him myself.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were easy to train, man. They were obedient, man. German shepherd, obedient, man. You could tell him, sit there. And you could walk up and he'll sit there waiting until you said, come. Then that's when he would come. Yeah, obedient, man. You said, sit still. I said, what? You sit. A pit bull too, when you try to train him too. A shepherd is well disciplined, man. Well, that's what I like about it. Easy to train, man. When I have my shepherd, I used to train him, man. I go anywhere and I say, sit there. You just watch me and sit. I do like this. Up, ears up, ready for the next command, man. It was a man, and I did it myself.
Wow.
So imagine I had a professional trainer, man. You know what I mean? But a shepherd is easy to train, and they take good command, man. And like I said, Moses said, like Moses called Caleb, because his name means dog. He was faithful. A dog is a faithful animal, man. But he's not man's best friend. Like Esau said, but he's faithful. He's faithful to you. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, a shepherd is something else too. A Doberman too. It's good. It's easy to train too. You know? Yeah.
Why do they say the dog is a man's best friend?
Because he's faithful to you. He will never leave you or forsake you. You understand? Once you train him and he's there, you feed him. He's like a cat. You feed a cat. A cat will like, and you on his belly full, like gone somewhere else, leave you. A cat will forsake you in a minute. You understand? But a dog, he will stay with you until death, man. You understand? Because even I had two dogs. One was Rex, and when the shepherd had got hit by a car, because he used to follow my sister down to school in the morning. Every morning he used to follow all the way down to catch the bus. So one day he ran across the street and he got hit by a car. So the other dog, he stood there waiting, stayed right there with him. He didn't move until I came down. And then I said, oh, that's why he took so long. But he stood there with him.
Wow.
He didn't move from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they are loyal.
Yeah, they're loyal, yeah.
So I got a precept for you.
Yeah, bring it out, yeah.
Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 10. A righteous man regard the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel.
Right. So you have to treat your animals right because they're loyal to you. A dog, man, he's loyal. You know what I mean? And a dog will defend you too when it comes down to it from the enemy. That's why he barks. Most I said there are dogs that cannot bark, but a dog barks when the enemy comes. He alerts you that the enemy is there. You know? Yeah.
Well, then I always had a question right off the top. Did Esau make a pact with the wolves when he was in the cave? Because, you know, I mean, they were loyal to him when he was in the caves. So I'm wondering, before they start breeding to get 2 dogs that we know of, the wolf was the thing, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. I just want to clarify.
Yeah. Yeah. But remember, the scripture said every animal is domesticated by man. Yeah. It tells you in James, because you could train any animal, domesticate an animal, make them into a friendly creature. But I don't think you could domesticate a lion, though. I don't know about that, boy. A lion and a damn serpent, man. I ain't domesticated no serpent, man. Hell no. Stay your distance, man. You know? Yep. All right, so let's finish that in Joel.
Verse 2. Joel chapter 3 and verse 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
That's why the Most High said, wait ye upon me, because this is the Most High plan. This is his plan for all these nations. All right, read on.
And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel.
And this is how the Most High is going to get vengeance and judgment upon them for what they did to us. All right? So we don't have to go and take up no arms. I want to kill a white man. I hate the white man. I want to kill him. Brother, you don't hate the white man that much. You're going to go and kill him. Give me a break. Yeah, right. You hate him, but you don't hate him like that to go and take up arms and take him down, brother. I'm telling you. You understand? You might have hatred for him, but for you to go and take arms, where you going to buy your arms from anyway? You got to buy it from him anyway. Where you going to get the bullets from? From him? Who's your connection you're going to get the weapons from? And how you know that connection not a damn informant? You understand? So sometimes you just have to just chill and just rely on the Most High. I don't even go that route, man. Because you might be saying, okay, I'm gonna get my guns, I'm going to get my AK, I'm going to get the bullets. And the person you buy it from may be a damn informant. And as soon as you get all this stuff, and here comes what? A special task force team. FBI, you're under arrest. What is this? A sting operation. You got busted. Why? Because the person you did was an informant. He was working for them to give you the weapons. All right? Read on.
Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
So this is how the Most High is going to get justice for us. All right? Read on.
And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink.
And that's what they did in slavery. They sold a girl for wine. Cheap. Give me a bottle of wine. What you got there? And they sold us for wine, did everything for us, man. Made whores, made everything out of us, man. All right? Read on.
Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return the recompense upon your own head.
So the Most High said, even if you try to repay me for what you did, I'm still going to pay you back. Right? You're still going to be judged and punished for what you have done. All right? Read on.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things.
And that's what they did. The Queen of England too, she did that too. Stole all our riches too. Got all that damn riches over there. Traveling a damn gold chariot. We get all our gold from.
Right.
And all those rubies and riches. That ain't come from England. All right? Read on.
Verse 6. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians.
And that's what they did. They sold us unto the Grecians. And when it says Grecian, it doesn't just mean the Greeks alone. All white people. Why? Because the Grecians were the beginning of the European powers. That's the beginning of their rulership with the Greeks. It started with Alexander, and he paved the way for all the rest of them. And all of them came in succession after the Greeks. Right down to America. And if you don't believe it, go back. America pays homage and tribute to their Greek and Roman ancestors. Everything you see here is in the style of the Greek and the Romans.
That's true.
All right? The Greek and Latin terminology. It's based on Greek and Rome. Because remember, the Romans only absorbed the Greeks' culture and took it in. So the Romans took over what the Greeks left off from doing. But the Romans became more powerful than the Greeks. All right?
I got a definition if you want it.
Yeah.
There's a Zondervan Bible Dictionary, page 207. Grecia is Greece, the home of the Hellenes.
Right, the Hellenes, right. And that was the beginning of the European powers. All right, read on.
Greeks and Grecians, however, are to be distinguished.
Right, so when you have to distinguish between Greeks and Grecians, because there are two Greeks, two types of Greeks. All right, read on.
Greeks are generally those of the Hellenic race. And in Acts 16:1, 18:4, and probably John 12:20.
Right, so Greeks were also Israelite Jews or Judites that became part of the Greek culture that spoke Greek. All right, and it's going to tell you. Read on.
But the word may be used to indicate non-Jews.
See, it could be used to indicate non-Jews. What it says?
Non-Jews, foreigners, and aliens.
Right. All right, so it has two meanings.
But then it has Grecians. Grecians were Greek-speaking Jews.
Right. See, Grecians were Greek-speaking Israelites that adopted the culture of the Greeks. All right, became full-blooded Greeks in the culture of it. Their actions, their language, everything they wanted to be just like the Greeks. But they were black people. They were Israelites. All right.
And it says folks of the dispersion.
Right, and folks of the dispersion, right? Israelites are dispersed. All right. So, as Israelites, a lot of us adopted cultures from all the different nations. Because before the Greeks, we adopted a lot of customs from the Africans too. All right, from the Babylonians. When we came out from the Babylonian captivity, a lot of stuff that we adopted came from Babylon too. All right, they adopted some of the customs from the Assyrians too. All right, from the Persians. All right, so we adopted a lot of cultures from a lot of different nations. Even when we came up from Egypt, they were into Egyptology and some of our people too. It was a king of Israel. He had the Ankh symbol. The king, I think it was, he had the Ankh symbol right up there with the symbol of Israel too. And he was an Israelite, so he was probably adopted some of the Egyptian customs too.
Right.
Because he was mainly dealing with a lot of trade with the Egyptians. All right. So Israel adopted a lot of styles and cultures from a lot of nations that we were involved in. All right. And look here in America, we adopted the same culture and lifestyle. Some of our people think, well, I am African American. And I am an American citizen of these United States of America. And my constitutional rights.
Right.
Some of our people know the Constitution more than some Edomites, man. We got some Jakes know this Constitution better than white people, man. You understand? So look at Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah.
So that's Israel for us, man. All right, read on.
That ye might remove them far from their border. Verse 7. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them.
So it's coming down now to this point, and Most High say He's going to raise us up from the place where they have sold us. And you can see that's over here in the western part of this world. This is the main place where the slavery took place, where they really sold us and made money from it. Exchange. They made a lucrative business from that slave trade, man. That slave trade made the European powers rich. Filthy rich, man. Yeah.
Because most of the so-called Jews are directors and presidents of banks.
Right. And they were involved in it too. They were the insurers of the slaves. They insured the ships and the slaves.
Yeah, finance.
Right? They were the financiers and the insurance. All right. So the European powers made a lot of money, man. You know, France, England, you name it, Holland. A lot of them made money too, man. Look at that slave trade. It was big business. I think the British made the most out of it, man. The British Empire. Because America came out of who? The British Empire. And America still pays taxes to England. Even when they claimed they got independence, America was still paying taxes to them. Because one thing the king did, He gave them independence, but he said, you Americans are going to pay me tribute. Even China today still pays tribute to England, Hong Kong, and those areas. All right? Read on.
And I will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah. And they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off. For the Most High has spoken it.
Right, so the Most High has spoken this. All right? So this is the plans of the Most High, what he has in store for them. All right? And I know when they read this, when their scholars read this, they see that this is going to happen. But their job is to do what? The job as the scholars and the elites is to do what?
Oh,
confuse the people.
Right,
Yeah.
and to offset
yeah.
the prophecy and to make
Yeah.
people believe it's not going to happen. So that's why they come up with different distractions and different things to offset and to have the minds of people confused as to what the plans of the Most High are. Because if people know what the plans of the Most High are, they're going to see things differently. You understand? But their jobs are constantly offset and confuse the people. Create confusion. Right? Plenty distraction. The more distraction you have, the more you have people chasing after this distraction, and you can't really focus. All right? So read on.
Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war.
So the Most High said, proclaim this amongst the Gentiles and nations. Prepare for war. Trump knows what's coming. He knows war is going to come. Because what he's doing by increasing the tariffs from China and these different areas, it's going to create a war. It's going to create a trade war amongst the nations. All right? Read on.
Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up.
Come up where? To the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's where the Most High is going to plead and judge them. All right? So they're not going to escape this. All right? Even though they try to offset it by doing their own thing, setting up their plans, they can't go around the Most High prophecies.
That's right.
All right? Read on.
Verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
So when it says beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, what does that mean?
Make weapons, get ready.
Right. All your conventional weapons that you use for domestic or agriculture or whatever, make all your invention that you're doing for weapons of war. Make the greatest high-tech weapons. Make a weapon that you could shoot. And when it shoots off 10 more missiles. Make more of those. Make more ultrasonic planes that you can't detect when it's going over your radar. Keep making more of them. Don't stop. Make the best bombs. Make your best stealth planes. Make it because you're going to use it for this war. Yeah.
Learn how to use your staff.
Yeah. Yep. But he's saying this towards the nations. Right, because they're the one that come up with all these inventions. Instead of making progressive technology, make your technology for war now. All right? Get ready for this war, because that's what it's going to be used for.
Right.
All right? Read on.
Verse 11. Assemble yourselves, and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about.
See what he says? Come, all ye heathen. Most said, all you nations, come up. All right? Read on.
Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Most High. Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
That's where the Most High is going to judge. That's where the Most High is going to have his feast day. All right? So that's the plans of the Most High. So people want to know, well, what is God doing? What is God going to do? When is he going to judge this white man? What is your God doing? Your God is sleeping. No, he's not sleeping. The Most High had his plans set up from day one. But everything with the Most High is done in stages. All right? Where the Most High set it up, he didn't set up in a fast-paced thing like that. The Most High set it up in stages. Everything has to be built up in stages. All right? It's just like you can't grow from a baby to adult. You have to go through what? The different stages. All right? So that's where the Most High does everything in stages. Yeah.
Lucky for us, he's patient.
Yeah. The Most High said the Most High is long suffering. You understand?
I got the precept
Yeah.
on it. 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 9. The Most High is not slack concerning his promise.
Right. The Most High is not slack. The Most High didn't forget what his promise. The Most High ain't sleeping on it. It's in the making. It's working. All right. Read on.
As some men count slackness.
As some men is slacking what they're doing. Yeah, okay, brother. I'll meet you tomorrow. Then he didn't show up. Well, okay, I'll meet you again on the next day. Brother, you didn't show up, brother. Yo, I forgot. Yo, brother, you said you... no, the Most High is not like that. All right? The Most High said a date, a time, the Most High is going to live up to it. All right? That's all the Most High is. The Most High said, the springtime, so be it. If he said summertime, so be it. If he gave a date, so be it. If he said 400 years, so be it. All right? Read on.
But is long suffering toward us.
The Most High is long suffering towards us. All right? He has compassion. He has mercy. He has a lot of patience for us. All right? Read on.
Not willing that any should perish.
He don't want us to perish. All right? Read on.
But that all should come to repentance.
And the Most High wants us as a nation to come to repentance. To repent. All right? All right. Now go back to Joel.
Joel 3 and 12? 13.
13. Yeah.
13. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe.
So the Most High says, here the Most High speak in such a way that sounds so poetic. And so he says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. So who's the Most High calling the harvest? The nations. Here the harvest is going to be, he's going to put the sickle too. Because a sickle is what? Is a farm tool that you cut wheat and different stuff with. So the Most High said, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ready. The harvest is ready. It's ripe now. It's that time. All right? Read on.
Come, get you down, for the press is full.
Yeah, it's full. It's full with the nations getting ready for this war. The press is full. All right? Read on.
The fats overflow.
It's overflowing. All right? The Most High is speaking in an expressive way, man. All right? Read on.
For their wickedness is great.
The Most High said the wickedness is great. All right? Read on.
Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision.
So what he says, multitudes, multitudes. That's going to be in that valley of decision. It's going to be a lot of nations, man. All right? Read on.
For the day of the Most High is near in the valley of decision.
And it's near in the valley of decision. It's coming. That's what it's boiling up to.
Right.
Everything is going to lead up to that.
Right.
Read on.
The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining.
Right, so it's going to be a gloomy day. Right? It's going to be gloomy, but when the Most High appears, it's going to brighten up everything. All right? Read on.
The Most High shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Most High will be the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Israel.
See? So the Most High always leaves us with assurance that he's going to protect and have our back. All right? But it says the Most High will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. That's who's our strength. Your strength is not in the political system or the government. The Most High is our strength. All right? Then when you go here to Revelation now, go to Revelation here. Because the same thing that's being said here is shown you in Revelation. Go to Revelation, the 14th chapter. And you start here from let me see. Start from 14. Yeah.
Revelation chapter 14 and verse 14. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man.
So now, was this a literally white cloud? What was this white cloud? It was the chariots. All right? It was the chariots that the Most High is coming back in. All right? Read again.
And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, And upon the clouds one sat like unto the Son of Man.
Right. So now you know you can't sit in a cloud.
Right.
It's impossible to see a man sitting in the cloud. So it's showing you it's talking about something that's different from a cloud. It wasn't really a cloud. It's one of the angelic vehicles that the Most High and the angels going to use when they return.
So, did you see it? Here is a contrast and exposure enhanced version of the same clip showing some sort of camouflaged machine is the best word I can use to describe it, caught in the skies over the town of Fraser, Tennessee. Now, Fraser is a neighborhood right on the outskirts of Memphis, Tennessee, and I was sent an email, and this was captured on March 28th, 2016, so recently. And we got this amazing footage, and when I told you guys I had something mind-bending, I meant it. And my jaw dropped. And at first, when I was emailed this footage from the source, Mr. Schneider, I won't say his first name because he requested that I not use his full name. However, the source stated that for days straight, he had been hearing some very strange sounds, loud booming sounds in the sky that he couldn't explain. He went out on multiple occasions, looking around, looking up to the sky, searching on the internet, and not seeing or finding a thing. It was almost as if these were phantom sounds. And we've talked about this before, where these sounds, these unidentified sounds that people have been hearing all over the world, these loud booms, these loud screeching sounds that seem to come from nowhere. They've been featured in the mainstream news even, but more like a laughable topic, as the mainstream news usually claims that these types of videos and our research into the UFO phenomenon is. They think it's a laughing stock, and that's the only time you'll really see footage or UFO-related stories in the mainstream media. And I personally believe it's all part of the government's plan. They control the mainstream media, hence they control what they talk about in terms of UFO activity. When I first looked at it, I didn't see a damn thing. I basically saw the clouds, I saw the trees blowing, I saw what looked like a few bugs or birds fly by during the footage, but I was looking really, really hard and I couldn't see anything. And I emailed back the source and I told him I'm not seeing anything. Is there a frame of reference that I should be looking for? And he said, look closer. He said that I heard these mysterious sounds, and he then went outside and was looking up in the sky, basically in all directions, trying to see anything that was there. And he said that he had an eerie feeling that there was something above him in the skies. And he said if you look really close, and he saw this even better with his naked eye, he said that he saw for a moment, only for a split moment, what appeared to be a massive, again, machine-like structure moving in the sky, possibly still, that for only a moment broke through the clouds. It was a very overcast, cloudy day, heading toward night. As you can see, the image of the video, definitely, especially on a cell phone, begins degrading as the sun goes down and it's getting darker. And you will see, as you've already seen, a massive structure. I can't even describe it. Sitting up in the clouds, looking to be almost cloaked or see-through, as if it were made of glass or had some sort of invisibility cloak around it, to where it only became visible for a few moments, almost as if the clouds going over it and around it are what brought out the shape of the machine. And that's the only reason we were even able to see it this time. And that's what I believe we are seeing. We are seeing an outline of a machine that is invisible to our eyes and our cameras, only brought out due to the varying cloud cover that allows it to become visible momentarily. and he went back inside and grabbed his DSLR camera, which gives us much clearer pictures of this structure. He went in and got it, came back outside, pointed it to virtually the same area where he had thought he had seen it, or at least where the sound was coming from, and he snapped about 10 images. So here are the contrasted images, and what we have done is we have loaded the images into Photoshop. We have increased the contrast, lowered the brightness, increased the exposure, messed with the gamma to the point where we could darken the sky enough and increase the contrast enough to bring out this structure. And as you're seeing in the images here, we will show you one by one. This really brings it home, and to be honest, it's kind of freaking me. I mean, it's scary when you think about it. We have these things patrolling our skies. I am telling you, I have told you in past videos, we have this amazing, groundbreaking footage, and I sincerely hope you share this and keep your cameras ready for the next time you hear these odd sounds in the sky, because you never know what is directly above you, hiding in plain sight. Now, could this be a secret government craft? I don't know. I mean, look at this thing. Let's take a look at this from one of our best images sent in to us of this craft with the contrast and brightness enhancement to where we can see as much of this craft or giant machine as possible. And as you see, this does not look like anything our government would create. It looks to have some sort of rings in the back, what look like solid rings that come down at the bottom and almost look like they wrap around, and then more towards the front of the object. It forms a completely different shape, and there seems to be pieces of the craft that come back in, like these large divots and holes in the craft, almost like arms that are coming out. And this thing would have to be massive enough to generate such an eerie, loud sound that the source stated just sounded like a loud machinery type reverberation through the skies that he had heard in different parts of town. He had said that he went to visit family the week before, about 50 miles from where this footage was taken. And again, he said when he went out to smoke a cigarette at about 10 o'clock at night, he heard the same sounds echoing through the skies, and it frightened him. And he went inside, put out his cigarette. So this is some earth-shaking footage. It's amazing. And I want to thank the source for sending it in. It scared him to death, honestly. It scared him, and it continues to scare him. And I don't blame him. There are things we are not being told, people. There are things out there in our skies, believe it or not. And if you don't believe it, you're a fool. And I highly believe that it's because you don't want to believe it, because it does scare you to think that these things are out there. But we're safe. I think that if there was an alien presence that wanted to hurt us, we would be gone a long time ago.
And I'm going to show you now, priest is showing that the cloud represents the chariots too. All right? Read on.
Having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle.
All right. Now to show you that cloud, right? All right. Go to Acts 2. Acts, Ezekiel. Because some people here say, a cloud. What's really a cloud, brother?
Acts 2.
Yeah. Acts 1. Go to 1. Acts 1. Yeah. Acts, the first chapter. All right, Acts chapter 1. Yeah, Acts chapter 1, verse 9.
Acts chapter 1 and verse 9. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
See, going back to that cloud again. So how could a cloud receive you out of his sight? How could you sit in a cloud? All right? So you have to use deductive thinking. If a cloud received me out of their sight, and then you said, I saw one like I saw a man sat on a cloud, you can't sit on the cloud. It's impossible, right? Or a cloud can't just receive that. So what is it talking about? It was talking about something more different than a cloud.
Good.
All right, but when a person read it, they say, "Oh, that was a cloud. That's just a literal cloud." All right, read that verse again.
Acts 1 and 9. And when he had spoken these things while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
Read on.
And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven, as he went up.
So as he went up. All right, so the chariot took him up. All right. Now the white man got it, and he showed you when he made what was it? What's it? Dr. Spark? What is it called? What is it? Beam Me Up, Scotty. What was it?
Star Trek.
Star Trek. When they were showing you, remember that was made back in the '60s. He was showing you futuristic stuff. All right. When they had the laser gun, and he said, "Beam me up, Scotty." That was actually something that he got from the scripture. You're gonna be beamed up. Projected with those stuff. He was beamed up, and he said, "Beam me up, Scotty." And then he called him and said, "Give him the different codes wherever you are." And he said, "Beam me up at this time." And boop, and see, the next time you see him, they're in the ship. All right. So that was a futuristic thing that they got from the scripture about how people is going to be delivered out of this place. That wasn't a myth, some fairy tale. He got it from the scriptures. All right. So read that 10th verse again.
And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, which is also said, "Ye men of Galilee, why ye stand gazing into heaven?"
So they were gazing up, watching it, because it was like, oh, what? It was amazing to them. When he went up, they were watching like, damn, what is that? All right, because they haven't seen this in a long time. All right, read on.
This same Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven.
See? So the same way that he left, that's the same way he's coming back, with a cloud. So that should make you think, wait a minute, if he left in a cloud and he's come back in a cloud, how could he leave in a cloud and come back in a cloud? All right? So your mind should be start thinking like, a cloud? What kind of cloud is that? All right? So now go to Ezekiel, then we're coming back to Revelation 14. All right? For those that think don't understand or still doubting. All right, go to Ezekiel
1 and 4.
Yep, that's it.
1 and 4?
Yeah, Ezekiel chapter 1. Verse 4.
Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north.
So he's giving another example. A whirlwind came out of the north. All right, read on.
A great cloud.
A great cloud. All right, that cloud was the ship. All right, the angelic vehicles. Read on.
And the fire enfolding itself.
And the fire represents the lights around it, the different lights. So he saw it as fire, but it was the lights around it. All right, read on.
And a brightness was about it.
See the brightness of it, the lights. So this wasn't just a cloud, a literal cloud that he saw. This was something more different than a cloud, because he saw fire and he saw the brightness of it. Do a cloud get bright?
No.
No, clouds don't get bright. Clouds don't give off light. Clouds is what? It's like gas. Gaseous, yeah. All right. Read on.
And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber.
See, now he's showing the color of it, the different colors in it. Clouds don't carry lights in it. Different clues, different things to make you like, wait a minute. All right, read on.
Out of the midst of the fire.
All right, read on.
Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures.
So out of that cloud came the likeness of what? 4 living creatures. So how could something come out of a cloud? 4 living creatures come out from a cloud. But it wasn't really a cloud. It was the angelic vehicles of the Most High.
That's right.
The chariots. All right. So now for me, go to our First Kings, 2nd Kings. So I'm just showing maybe those people that on the camera or watching this that don't understand, all right, 2 Kings. 2 Kings right here. Let's start from the 2nd chapter. Let's start from the 9th verse.
2 Kings chapter 2 and verse 9. And it came to pass, when they were gone over, that Elijah said unto Elisha, ask what shall I do for thee, before I be taken away from thee.
So he says, ask what I could do for you before I'm taken away from you. I mean, he was going to leave. He said, listen, ask something of me. All right? So Elijah was a prophet, and Elisha was his understudy as a prophet too. So Elijah was a greater teacher. All right? Read on.
And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me.
See what he said? He said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me. All right? Because he said he was going to leave him. So he understood that. When he was going to depart from him. Read on.
And he said, thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee.
He said, if you see me when I'm taken from you, if you see me when I'm taken up from you, read on.
It shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so.
But if you don't see me, sorry, buddy. Sorry. But if you see me, you will get what you asked for. All right, read on.
And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven.
So Elijah went up by what? Beam me up Scotty effect into the chariot. All right. The Most High summoned up and he went up into the chariot. All right. So he went up into that chariot, which was a whirlwind, or what you call a cloud. Yeah.
Well, why are some taken up in the chariot?
Most High got special fear for some. Most High got more special love for some than some. You understand? That's how the Most High does it.
So they're taken in the chariot and transported where?
I don't know. Somewhere up there with the Most High. I don't know. But the Most High took them for a season.
And today you never hear about like Israelites talking about having an experience that about being taken by
No, not no more.
chariots, but Caucasians be claiming.
I don't know why, but remember the Most High said he wasn't going to deal with us no more like the way he did with us in the past. So the Most High said, I'm not going to deal with you no more. Like, you can forget about that, Israel.
I was going to say, remember too, all the Edomites talk about it usually have a bad experience. When they get taken up.
So the things that the Most High did for us in the past, he said he wasn't going to do it no more for us. He said, I'm going to turn my back on you, Israel. You could forget about that. The way I dealt with you in the past, no more of that, baby. Those royal treatment is over until I'm coming back for you in the end. So the Most High hasn't dealt with us the way he dealt with us like in the past. All right? So you got to remember that too. Like he said in Ezekiel, he said, I will hide my face from you. I will not deal with you the same way no more. All right? So until the Most High comes ready to deliver us, then he's going to show those things again. But for now, Most High said, nah, man, you're in the hands of your enemies. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve that royal treatment no more. Not until you acknowledge one thing. Acknowledge you have sinned against me, repent. Then when the time comes, I'm going to start dealing with you. That's how the Most High is, man. But the Most High love for some is different than some. Right? Because remember the Most High said Moses was a meek man. Most High said nobody was like Moses. He said, I spoke to Moses face to face. Then he said, Abraham was my friend. Check that out. You understand? So the Most High had different ways he dealt with different people in different situations. He said, Abraham was my friend. And you know, a friend, you keep close ties with a friend. You have that open communication, everything with a friend. The Most High said, with Moses, I talked to him face to face. I dealt with him directly. He didn't need no go-between. He's like, Moses, look at me, Moses. Talk to me, Moses. All right? And Moses could have said, come in, Most High. And the Most High said, yeah, Moses, I'm right here. You understand? So we lost that. You understand? A direct link. You know? But it's going to come back. You understand? So the Most High dealt with us in different ways, man. Each person or groups or the Most High dealt with in different ways. You know? Elijah, Enoch, who was the Most High? Isaiah, Jeremiah. You know? Most High had different levels of interaction with different prophets, and even some of the females too in the Bible. Look at Mary and Samson's mother. Look at what's her name? The one that had Samuel. What's his mother's name? Samuel's mother. What was her name again? I forgot her name. But the Most High, he came and spoke and told her. She prayed to the Most High and said, Most High, if I get a son, I'm going to devote my son to you. Oh, I forgot her name though, but it's going to come up. Anna. Yeah, Anna. Yeah, she prayed to the Most High, and the Most High heard her prayers. And the Most High said, Anna, Samuel, that's going to be my man there. The Most High loved Samuel too. When Samuel was young and he was sleeping, the Most High came, Samuel, Samuel. And he said, Eli, you calling me Eli? He said, nah, son, I didn't call you son. Go back to sleep. Most High said, Samuel. And Eli told him, said, listen, if you hear that voice again, answer. Okay, he knew that was the Most High calling from a young age. You know? And the Most High told Jeremiah, he said, from the womb, so from the belly, I knew thee. And I ordained thee to be a prophet. So you see how the Most High deals with it in different ways? Now Amos, he wasn't a prophet all the time. What was Amos? A shepherd. Then the Most High called him to be a prophet. You see that? Moses wasn't a prophet need all the time. He was a general. Then the Most High said, okay, now change. I got something for you better. So the Most High has our destiny lined up, but we don't know it sometimes. All right. All right. So go back to so for the people on the camera, you see that wasn't a cloud. That wasn't actually a cloud. This was an angelic vehicle of the Most High. All right. So let's go back to Revelation, the 14th chapter.
Want me to start 15 or 14 again?
Read 14 again, yeah.
Okay. Revelation chapter 14 and verse 14. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the clouds one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and his hand a sharp sickle.
So he's coming back with a crown. That means victory. And a sharp sickle in his hand, a weapon. All right? Read on.
And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle.
So the angel said, trust in your sickle. Put that sickle in. All right? Read on.
And reap. Time has come for thee to reap.
He said, reap. Like you said, you're going to reap your harvest when that time has come. That's the same way the Most High is going to reap these nations, man. You're going to reap them land. There's going to be a lot of bloodshed, man. All right? Read on.
For the harvest of the earth is ripe.
For the harvest of the earth is ripe. The nations is ready to die. It's a good day to die in that movie. What it says, what's his name? We were dealing with the vampires or something. He went down to Mexico. I forgot the name of that movie. He said, it's a good day to die. It was a good movie though. Yeah. All right, read on.
Verse 16. And he that sat on a cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped.
And the earth was reaped. All right, read on.
And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had the power over fire, and cried with a loud voice, cried to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe.
So he's describing the people as grapes. Right? That's us now. All right? He's describing the people as a harvest. It's season. It's time now to reap. All right? Yeah.
It's just like the parable of the wheat and the tare.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why he spoke those things in parables. All right? Read on.
And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth and gathered the vine of the earth.
And who's the vine of the earth he's going to gather? Israel. All right. Read on.
And cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of the Most High.
All right. So now, see, this part here, the vine of the earth represents the other nations. That's the unfruitful one, the wild vines. All right. Read on.
And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horses' bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs.
Right, so it's going to be so much bloodshed, it's going to be up to the horse's bridle. How much bloodshed is going to be running in this earth. Of all the nations that's going to be slaughtered. That's a lot of people to be killed in the valley of Jehoshaphat. It's a lot of blood. That's why it said multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. The Most High going to have a great day killing these nations, man. They're going to pay for what they did. You understand? So that's why the Most High said, you don't have to take up no arms and get revenge and going to take the white man down. I'm going to do I'm going to do this. I got this, man. The Most High said, I got this. Chill, chill. This is my thing. I got this for you, man. They're going to fight amongst themselves. You don't have to worry. All you have to do is sit back and watch. You're going to have the first front row view of all this.
And the Most High was doing it from the days of old.
From the days of old. Days of old. And he's going to show us again. I got this, man. Just chill, Israel. I got you, man. You don't have to worry. I got this. You know? But the Most High will let it get loose again, too. But the first part of it, he's going to clean up, man. He's going to take them down. Take down all their power. When he take their power down, then he's going to say, get him, Israel. Get him. He's going to sick us on them. Get him.
Well, I have here, it's 1,600 furlongs is 180 miles.
Check that out. Imagine that. 180, that's past Delaware. From past Delaware, man.
That's a lot of blood.
That's a lot of blood running, just running, man. You understand? 180, because it's about 100, from here to Delaware is about 150 miles. Yep. So that's a lot of blood running, man. Running.
That's a whole river.
Yeah, that's like a river, man. Yeah. So they haven't seen the Most High. The people say, I don't know, where's God? What is he doing? When the Most High get ready to act, brother, you're going to see it, man. The Most High said they're going to know there's a God in the earth in that day, man. And he brings his judgment. All right? Hold that. So we finish here, Revelation. Go to over here to Psalms. I want to show you some hidden Psalms. All right, go to Psalms 7. And start from the 9th verse. Actually, start from 8.
Psalms chapter 7 and verse 8. The Most High shall judge the people. Judge me, O power, according to my righteousness and according to mine integrity that is in me. Or let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just. For righteous power trieth the hearts and reins. My defense is of power, which saveth the upright in heart. O power judges the righteous, and power is and the Most High is angry with the wicked every day.
So you see that? The Most High judges the righteous, and the Most High is angry with the wicked every day. All right, read on.
If he turn not, he will whet his sword, and have bent his bow, and made it ready. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death.
See? So the Most High got him prepared for the instruments of death. All the weapons that they made, that's the instruments of death for them. Read on.
He ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors. Behold, he travaileth with iniquity, and hath conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehood. He made a pit and digged it.
They made a pit, and they're going to dig it too. All right, read on.
And is fallen into the ditch which he made.
Just like Trump saying, we're gonna build a wall, but the Mexicans gonna build it.
Gun.
They gonna dig a ditch and they gonna fall into it. All right, all right. Read on.
His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealings shall come down upon his own pate. I will praise the Most High according to his righteousness, and I will sing praise to the name of the Most High.
All right.
Now go over here to the 9th chapter and start from the 15th verse.
Psalm chapter 9 and verse 15. The heathen are sunk down into the pit that they made.
You see that? Read on.
And the net which they hid is their own foot taken.
They're going to be taken into their own trap that they made. All right? All the devices that they made against us, they're going to fall into it eventually. Read on.
The Most High is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Higeon, Selah. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and the nations that forget the Most High. For the needy shall not always be forgotten. The expectation of the poor shall not perish forever. Arise, O power. Let not man prevail. Let the heathen be judged in thy sight. Put them in fear, O Most High, that the nations may know themselves to be but men.
Right.
Selah.
Selah.
Wow.
One more scripture. It's in Isaiah. Isaiah, one second. Say, when thy hand is lifted up, the heathens. Okay, yeah. Isaiah 26. Isaiah 26 and 9 down to 11.
Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 9. With my soul have I desired thee in the night. Yea, with my spirit within me I will seek thee early. For when thy judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness.
So you see that? So when the Most High judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. Read on.
Let favor be shewed to the wicked, yet he will not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of the Most High. O Most High, when thy hand is lifted up, they will not see, but they shall see, and shall be ashamed for their envy at the people. Yea, the fire of thine enemies shall devour them.
Right. So with that, the fire of the Most High is going to devour the Most High enemies. And with that, I say shalom. Shalom.
Shalom.